Thank you, everybody, for tuning in this week. If you liked what we had to say, even if you didn't, make sure to subscribe to us on YouTube. That's the big one. Check us out everywhere else, though, too. Instagram, Twitter, audio platforms, especially, um, to make sure you get that full podcast action. Make sure you go to the audio platform, just look up Trick Play Sports Podcast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast. We're probably there. Anyways, um, for shoutouts for this week, I kind of tipped my hand. I think this is one I was gonna potentially do last week, but I think I don't even remember what I did, but I had a better one. But it's gonna give my shout out this week, and that is The Athletic, just for their sports coverage, their sports writing. Now, I have had an athletic subscription for a while now, the last few months, but I didn't really use it because the original reason that I bought a New York Times subscription was to play the fucking crossword, which was a bit of a stupid decision by me, but that's okay, because it was only like $2 a month, so I was like, "Fuck it, why
Oh, fair
not?"
enough.
But then I realized the
I pay for
last,
dumber shit.
yeah, exactly, it's $2 a month, I'll be fine. But I realized that I get The Athletic as part of this, and you always hear good things about them, so I checked it out. Absolutely fantastic. So much more in depth than any other sports news platform I've ever read. Like, this is the kind of shit why I want to go into sports writing, is some of the articles they have on there. I want to specifically highlight I believe they call it the A1 must read stories every day. Basically, we highlighted one of them in our podcast today. The Jeff
Cool.
Merrick one was one of them, where it's a longer form article. They post one a day on weekdays. Um, and it's just super in depth on a super specific topic. And they're all very well researched, very well written, super interesting. Like, again, way more in depth than any other sports reporting that I've seen out there. And so, just to all of the authors that work on that, just fantastic work. That gets my shout out, for the week. Nothing too crazy, just like, I think it's awesome. And if you, I mean, obviously, like,
If I knew this was going to be
subscription, pay
the
money for it.
episode we were thanking The Athletic because of how much they contribute to the Trick Play podcast's general what we talk about every week. Because generally, the first thing I know you look at is The Athletic when we're trying to come up with what we're going to talk about
Well, that's
and the score,
I
I
used to do
guess.
the score. The score
Yes.
was the big one. The score was the
Yes.
big one because that's more the headlines and everything. The Athletic is a recent development, and even then, I still go the score more for the headlines. But the Athletic is definitely more the in-depth coverage, and I mean that's
Yeah.
for the podcast. The score is still a little bit more useful, but the Athletic is definitely the kind of writing that I prefer.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, my shout out goes to a bit of a funnier thing. I'm sure a lot of people have seen it. I've been talking to about it with everybody I know. In fact, me and your mutual friend Emil, me and him had a long conversation about it because of how hilarious this entire thing is. But basically, if you're following the Olympics, which obviously we talked about the Olympics today, not about this, but we did talk about the Olympics. You might have heard about this man who is on the Turkish, I believe it's called the shooting team, but I do not know. And all of he basically in shooting, what is generally a well-known thing is that you're supposed to wear ear protection. You wear like a lot of these guys will wear like very fancy glasses, like that are monocles. They're even being called to like help them see the target better or something. I don't know. I don't shoot guns. Anyway, this guy came out of nowhere. No one knows who he was before this. He is a 51-year-old man who showed up, no ear protection. He wasn't wearing shit. He was wearing his glasses he probably bought at like London Drugs and rolled up and won the silver medal. Is that not the most awesome thing you've ever heard in your life? This dude is a hero. A lot of people I showed this a cartoon that I saw earlier today on I think it was on Twitter that somebody made was like him sitting at like a bar and like a government agent in a suit walks up to behind him and just like, we need you one more time, 007. And he just like he puts down his whiskey and he goes, what's the mission? And he's rolling up. He rolled up to the Olympics. That's my shout out for the week. That dude's awesome. He's the best. So yeah, there you go. I don't know who he is, but there's something so incredible about just like imagine it's the equivalent of like if America for this just sent like some dude straight off like a Texas ranch. That's the equivalent of this to me, which I think is hilarious. Like this guy, he had his hand in his pocket too. I think on the Pat McAfee show they were talking about about how like he probably had a beer in there. Like he was I don't know, man. He's a hero. He is a true hero of mine now. So there you go. That's my shout out. I actually had a shout out this week. First time ever.
There you go. I think that guy's even funnier when you compare it to the other famous shooting thing that's been going around the internet. Is the I don't know what country she is for, but the woman who has like all of the gadgets, where she has the headphones, she has like multiple monocles, like all this like completely tricked out. And then it's just the guy, and then you scroll down your timeline, and it's just the guy who's just like standing there. And
I'm gonna be straight up with you, Caleb, since it's the outro. It's not what I thought where I thought you were going with it, considering the shooting thing that has happened lately. But we don't need to talk about this because this is not a political podcast, and we're gonna wrap this up. Thank you so much for watching this week. Make sure to subscribe. Make sure to subscribe.
It's a sport. That's what it's
called. To subscribe. Everywhere you can find the podcast. We're pretty much everywhere.
When I said that the Trick Play podcast needed controversy, I was talking about next week. I didn't need it right away in the next fucking segment.
Oh, boy. Oh. Make sure to subscribe. We do a good job here informing you on all of the shooting-related things going on, but only in the Olympics. See you next week.
You know, whoa.
Oh!
Don't press stop. Don't press fucking stop.
Point. I did not press stop. We're still rolling.
I hope it's still going.
It is still going.
Because you know who would do an even better job about informing the people about all shooting-related events? Not just in sports. He could probably do it all. You know the man.
Oh,
the man is multifaceted. The man is multi-talented. Not only would he be a great reporter, not only was he a great thrower of the football, not only was he a great man, he also has a spectacular rear end. And to that we say, Penix better have a warm ass. See you next week.